What's up, you guys? This is One Classic Gamer here. Welcome you to Resident Evil 9 Requiem Insanity Difficulty Part 5. And we got a pretty chill, low-key video today for you guys. There's not much going on. I mean, we are going through some pretty crazy parts of the game, as always, but this is really just us in the middle of probably, the biggest area of the game that you can explore, which is the whole Raccoon City section. And yeah, I mean, I decided to keep this one fairly shorter than these videos have been, which I know some of you will hopefully appreciate the fact that I'm trimming these down a little bit. But the next video is going to be a lot lengthier than this one, so don't expect this to be a regular occurrence. But yeah, I mean, we're literally just running around, exploring, looting, and shooting and killing a bunch of things in this video. So there's not really much for me to guide you guys through, but I'm sitting here doing the commentary anyway, because why the hell not? I've been doing it all the way up until this point, so there have to be some tips that I can offer you guys, and I do think I have a few here and there, but for the most part, this is going to be like the one video in this insanity run where I'm just going to be like probably rambling for most of it, not even really talking about the game that much. But yeah, I think after this I'm gonna definitely need to stop and take a break from these for a couple of days, just so I could start working on my other playthroughs. I've been kind of neglecting my other playthroughs for the past few weeks, or 2 weeks now, and since it's Monday, I figured, you know what? Next week, all I've really got so far is the first 3 videos of this insanity run scheduled and uploaded. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to get going on my Indiana Jones, Mario and Luigi, and Silent Hill F videos again. I mean, if I just let them, sit on my hard drives, they're not going to get done anytime soon. So this guy right here, most of the enemies you can run up and get them with the hatchet if you're quick enough. But these guys in this building in particular, at least some of these guys, like this guy in particular, you can't really do that with, unfortunately. Because if you do, he's going to turn around and spot you. So just sneak up on him, and don't run up to that guy. And yeah, as I was saying, I'm going to need to get back onto my other playthroughs. Even though I really don't want to, I'm just so fucking tired at this point. I've reached my breaking point again, my limit, where I'm just like, I've been grinding on these videos since the end of January, and, it's April now, so I'm just like, bro, like, it's been 2.5 months of me just editing, and I don't have the time for this anymore, but I need to just power through it, man. I feel like I'm going through Tears of the Kingdom again. The same situation where I know if I just keep working and keep chipping away at these every single day, then pretty soon, before I know it, all of these games will be done. The ideal, optimal situation is basically to get all these games done at the same time, or have them all end around the same time. But yeah, after this I'm probably gonna work on the next Indiana Jones video, because why the hell not? So here on Standard Classic, there's usually only one enemy that you have to sneak up on in the water there, where you have to put the fuses. But on Insanity, it's anything but that easy. That made no sense. My commentary's been solid all the way up until the 4.5 minute mark, and, I'm fumbling it again. I love it when Leon gets those, animations. It's so freaking sick. But yeah, they have 2 extra guys that pop out of the water there as you're sneaking up on that other guy, so just be ready. But I had just enough ammo to, you know, take care of them. And I'm opening up the inventory quite a bit here because I'm going to be getting that trophy that I was talking about in the last video for crafting every single item as Leon in a couple of minutes. So at this point, we have the opportunity to either climb up the ladder or go through the door. I am going to go through the door to get the first battery, and there is like a spot here where you can like insert a crank, like a lever, to like turn it and like open this door up. I never showed it in like any of my runs, but when I was playing the game for like the 5th time a few weeks ago, just in my own time, I tried it out just to see what was like over here. Like maybe there were like some weapon charms or something. There's the Master Craftsman trophy. This is the spot right here with the crank. It just leads to resources basically, you know, like ammo and whatnot, which is definitely helpful, but you know, for us, I mean, we're already pretty well stocked. I chose to take this path first because we're going to have to fight one of those, like, bloater guys. So I figured, why the fuck not? We will just, you know, we'll do this part first and do the other part second, like the whole, like, parking garage part. So, yeah, we can't get through this door because it's locked from the other side. Duh. You all should know this by now. Clearly, I didn't. And finally we get some light in here. This part of the game is so dark, dude. I'm trying to drink some actual water for once because honestly the past like 3 years I've noticed that, you know, I've been drinking a lot of like soda and energy drinks and like flavored water and stuff, and if I want to keep my fucking kidneys, then maybe I should like actually start drinking some water again, you know? So once you pick up this valve hand wheel, 3 guys are going to pop up. I believe on Standard Classic there are only 2 of them, but here they give you like an extra guy to fight. But again, this is really not that bad. These guys are kind of pathetic and amateur, you know? These are like the junior league zombies compared to all the other crazy zombies that you fight in this game. But as soon as we put the valve hand wheel in, the bloater guy is going to come out. And remember what I said in part 4. Basically, if you have grenades, you know, you can use your grenades to stun the guy. And as long as you run up and do your little roundhouse kick on one of the blisters, a roundhouse kick pretty much single shots the blister every single time. So these guys always have 4 blisters to pop. You know, I try to go for the ones on the back usually, but I believe this is the only other, this is the only other big guy that we're going to be fighting in the game. They only make you fight this guy twice. They make you fight him here and at the chapel at Rhodes Hill. And that guy died right away, which was kind of sad and pathetic. So don't get grabbed, whatever you do. There are also barrels here and weapons. I mean, with the weapons and the barrels and the grenades, fighting these guys is actually fairly easy. One thing I didn't point out, though, in the last video with these bloater guys, you do not want to get grabbed by them. Because if you get grabbed by them on Insanity, then it's pretty much just an insta-kill, like, every single time. Because he's just gonna, like, bite your fucking head off. And, yeah, you're not even really gonna have time to, like... I don't even think they give you, like, a button prompt. Some of these do. Here I got kind of a cool, like, this guy was starting to mutate, and I just grabbed the weapon, and Leon was like, sit your ass down. And I was trying to hit that crate there, but I kind of failed. But it doesn't really matter. So we have another weapon here, so we're just going to wait for him to get close to us. And yeah, when you're throwing the weapon, you do have some invincibility frames, so you don't have to worry. Even if he swings at you, he's not going to actually do anything to you. And we're going to deal the last blow here with the Requiem, and he's done. So all we got to deal with now is this guy And again, he does this really annoying fucking swiping attack that I hate so much. But if you are having trouble with him, you can just take him out with the Requiem. And yeah, that's the first area. So we're about to get the battery, but I'm going to do my usual looting here. And I really just can't state enough how much I just really enjoy this part of the game for some reason. Even though it is, I would probably say this is probably like the slowest part of the game if you really think about it. Everything else in the game is very like fast paced. You know, there's not really a single second that is wasted in this entire game, which is one of the reasons why I love it so much. But this Raccoon City section in the middle is definitely probably like the most tame part, like the slowest part, because Leon is like super overpowered, even on Insanity. That doesn't mean you should take Insanity for granted, obviously, but still. You know, one complaint that I've seen online about this particular part of the game, or basically the people who don't like this game for some reason because they're cynical, in my opinion, they just want to have a reason to hate everything and glaze all of the old Resident Evil games and shit on any new Resident Evil games that, you know, comes out. That's really how I view it personally, even though I shouldn't really care about what other people think. But you know what? I have the time and it's my video, so fuck it. I'm going to talk about it. People don't like this part of the game because they think it's boring and like the colors are all like gray and like desaturated and like just boring. And I'm like, bitch, this fucking city got nuked. Like, what do you expect? You think Leon's gonna pull up to like a lively city with a bunch of like neon fluorescent signs and like, you know, a live city? Like, no. Like, what are you talking about? Honestly. This part of the game, honestly, I mean, I hate comparing it to The Last of Us because at this point in time, I'm gonna shock you guys. I really don't care about The Last of Us as much anymore as I used to because the freaking HBO show was season 2 of the HBO show was so freaking awful that it just kind of killed my enjoyment of The Last of Us. You know, with all the dumbass shit that Neil Druckmann and Craig, I have to ruin everything I'm involved in, Mason has said, it just really kind of, you know, made it hard for me to respect The Last of Us after my last playthrough of Last of Us Part 2. But the reason why I'm bringing up The Last of Us to begin with is basically, you know, the only thing that I can really compare this game and The Last of Us like to is the fact that this part of the game, this Raccoon City section, very much reminds me of the Seattle section in the beginning of The Last of Us Part 2, where you're running around on horseback with Dina and you got that big giant like open area to explore. That's just kind of what this part of the game reminds me of. But honestly, I enjoy this more because over the past few years, I've become way more of a Resident Evil fan than I have a Last of Us fan. And I hate admitting that. I really, really do, because I used to love The Last of Us. But as it stands, it's like, if Naughty Dog isn't going to do shit and, like, give us anything new, which we know they're working on a new game, they're working on Intergalactic, you know, but the thing is, they just got done, you know, quote unquote crunching for their internal like demo. It's not an internal demo, it's a demo that we're all supposed to see at some point in time. And where is that demo? Nobody knows, because we all thought we were going to get it during the last state of play and they didn't show it. So, you know, they haven't done a single trailer for their new game. And it doesn't look like if they are doing The Last of Us Part 3, it's going to happen anytime soon. The only Last of Us content we have right now is the show. And like I said, I am just like, I could care less about the show. I've become a Resident Evil fan. I've converted over to Resident Evil and become a fan of these games. And I'm glad, because these games come out a lot more frequently than whatever the fuck Naughty Dog is doing right now. I mean, obviously we all know they're working on Intergalactic, but my point still stands. It's like they're taking so long to give us anything at this point that it's like when their brand new game, when Intergalactic comes out, even if it is successful, okay, then what? The game is going to be like 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 hours max, and once it's done, we're all going to forget about it and move on completely. And then we're going to have to wait another like 5 to 7 years for them to release the next game, that whatever game they're working on, you know. Whereas these Resident Evil games come out like every 2 to 3 years. It's like, fuck that, man. I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm so done with Naughty Dog. I am no longer Team Naughty Dog, and I am now Team Capcom. So, yeah, I guess that might shock some of you guys. I mean, I'm not going to take down any of my Last of Us videos. I'm going to leave them up, and I could potentially become a Last of Us fan again if they like did anything with the property, but I just don't foresee that happening, honestly. I just don't think Naughty Dog is going to do anything with The Last of Us for a while, you know? So I could care less at this point. Here I was kind of lost, and I forgot where I needed to actually go, by the way. And I kind of just, you know, glossed over this whole section and didn't talk that much for it, but this whole section is me starting to finally realize, like, oh, you can run up and straight up just, you know, melee the enemies if you press the button quick enough, and they won't even notice you. So, yeah, not this guy. I mean, this guy is scripted. He does get up at a very specific point, but those are both of the batteries, and now we can get out of here and get on to the only cutscene cinematic in this entire video, which is kind of crazy. It's the whole, you guys know, I'm not even going to get into it. You're about to literally see it, so, you know, sharpen up your axe, reload your stuff, heal if you got any healing items, and, yeah, we're finally out of the dark and back into the light again, so, yeah, I'm just going to shut up right now.
Encountered 3 infected and eliminated them. That's correct, sir. Do we proceed?
So the rumors were true? What rumors? The missile wasn't just about stopping the spread. Don't be ridiculous.
Affirmative. Listen up! Our objective hasn't changed. We rendezvous with the advanced party in the center of Raccoon City, then head for Ark. Our mission is to retrieve Elpis. Move out!
Man down! Jesus, fuck!
Where is he? I'm fucking blind here!
Oh, God! Oh, my fucking leg! Get cover! Get cover!
Please help me!
Holy shit! I thought I had a short fuse.
What are we doing here?
All in good time. You'll see.
Freaking Xeno, man. Xeno is a menace. I swear, when we do get DLC for this game, I'm hoping that, I mean, I'm not counting on it, but it would be cool to see, and I'm just kind of like spitballing at this point. It would be kind of cool to see like a separate ways style DLC where it takes place, you know, here in Raccoon City, but we're actually playing as Chris Redfield, and we get to see what Chris has been up to, you know, while Leon has been doing what he's been doing. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. I don't know. I have a feeling like the next DLC is going to be like heavily focused on Chris. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, there was like a poll, because I spend a lot of time on like Reddit and threads. I know I'm one of those losers. And there was a poll that someone put up basically asking, you know, who do you think the story DLC is going to center around and focus on? I think it's going to focus on Chris. I mean, there are so many hints in the game that say it's going to focus on Chris, but like 40% of the people who voted for some reason thought it was going to be focused on Ada. I don't think it's going to be focused on Ada. I mean, there was this clip circulating online around the time that this game came out during the final cutscene with the whole release Elpis option, where when you see Leon take his gloves off as he's walking away from Grace at the end, you see him take something out of his like pocket and put it on his hand and walk away. And a lot of people are theorizing, or right away pretty much were theorizing, that that thing that he was taking out of his pocket was a wedding ring, insinuating that, you know, he's engaged or married with Ada now. But I don't know, man. I don't really need another DLC focusing on Ada. I kind of want the DLC to be focused on Chris, because where the fuck is Chris Redfield, man? When are we going to get our Leon Chris Redfield crossover, dude? Like, that is going to be epic when that finally happens. We kind of got there a little bit in Resident Evil 6. There was like, you know, a cutscene or two with the two of them together, but still, like, I just think it would be cool if the DLC was like actually focused on Chris. And yeah. See, this is an example. You can literally just run up in their field of view and get them with the hatchet if you're quick enough. It really is not that hard. That's a very like RE4 remake mechanic. You could do that in RE4 remake also. You could literally run up and just melee the enemies if you're quick enough. And it's not even that you have to be that quick. You just have to like press the button as soon as the prompt comes up, you know. And you have usually more than enough time to like hit the button. But obviously if you wait a little too long, then yeah, you know, you're going to get got. But yeah, look at this freaking guy. This poor guy literally was just roaming the streets. Another complaint that I've seen is like, how did the zombies survive the nuke? But it's just like, I mean, they could have gotten down into the subways. They could have been underground. There are zombies that literally rise up from the ground during this section plenty of times. So, like, what the fuck are you people talking about? It's like all of the criticisms that I've seen about this particular part of the game are just so dumb and stupid. All of the criticisms that I've seen about this game in general, in my opinion, are just retarded. It's like people have no problem glazing RE4, you know, like it's the best game ever, like it's the second coming of Christ, which honestly, I like RE4. I mean, I've only played RE4 Remake. I haven't played the original RE4 because I don't really want to go back and experience those tank controls. I'm not interested in that. I'm not, you know, the only game where I would actually do that is the original Resident Evil. You know, I'm good sticking with the remakes for now. You know, and I've been hearing rumors that they're actually doing a remake of the original game, which I've also heard we don't from like the hardcore fans that we don't need a remake of the original game because the original remaster is already like perfect enough as it is, which in my opinion it isn't because it doesn't have the Jill sandwich line in it. It's a different line. I'm just kidding. That's such a little nitpick, but still. Yeah, people just glaze RE4 and also think RE7 and RE8 are like the greatest Resident Evil games of all time. But they forget that like Ethan is a pathetic, wimpy fucking character that is just not interesting or compelling at all. I really do not like Ethan at all. And if any Resident Evil fans watch this when this video goes up or in the future, I'm probably going to get, you know, some dislikes or angry comments in this video, but whatever, I don't give a fuck. Like I said earlier, this is my video, my channel. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. I like RE4, but I also have never understood why people glaze RE4 as much as they do. Like, I really genuinely don't. Like, in my opinion, this game is better than RE4. And the people who criticize this game, they criticize it by saying, you know, they don't like how slow Grace runs. You know, like that's a game-breaking thing, which, okay, if you don't like the fact that Grace can't sprint in this game, like, I get it, but, like, it doesn't change the fact that her sections are very, like, RE7. You know, they are heavily inspired by RE7 with like the horror and everything. So we're gonna go to the gas station next. Yeah, I'm still trying to do some commentary on this video, but like I said, there's really not much for me to talk about in this video. Like, it's just me running around shooting zombies and doing stuff. But yeah, you know, people don't like the fact that Grace is like inexperienced and, you know, wimpy and all that, but I'm like, Ethan was an experienced character and he was fucking wimpy all the damn time, but you guys still glaze those fucking games like they're the greatest thing ever, when, let's be honest, RE8 is basically just a watered down version of RE4. It's the same thing, you know, it's the same thing with a character that fucking sucks. He honestly sucks. I hate Ethan. I've always hated Ethan, and I don't understand why people glaze RE7 and RE8 so much. I get why they glaze RE7, because RE7, you know, was the game that quote-unquote saved the franchise, you know, and brought Resident Evil back into, like, the mainstream. But here's the thing. I have not played Resident Evil 7 since 2017, when that game came out. I've played it twice when it came out, and I have not played it since. I do definitely need to revisit that game at some point, but as it stands right now, I have like no desire to replay that game. You know, like, this game to me gave me everything that I wanted, because I really genuinely feel like, and I'm not the first person to say this, like, the Resident Evil games, let's be honest, they've always struggled with balancing action and horror. You know, it's either one game goes too hard on the action, or, you know, and just completely loses one audience, you know, like the horror audience, the people who like RE7 just don't care and don't want to have anything to do with it, or the game goes way too hard on, you know, horror and no action, and they alienate all of the Resident Evil 4 fans. You know, this game to me, I still believe is perfect, because it gives us the best of both worlds. It gives us action and horror. You know, this game has plenty of really intense sections in it, and it gives us plenty of action as well. I get somewhat the complaint that, you know, there isn't, like, people say that they wish that there was more sections with Leon, like the tilted building section with the glass beneath your feet and all of that, that we're going to be doing in the next video. And that most of this is just him running around, you know, in regular areas just shooting zombies. But I'm like, that's what you do in Resident Evil to begin with. Like, what are you complaining about? It just really, what it feels to me is that people hold those games in such a high regard that anything that comes after it, they can't give that game, you know, its deserved flowers, even though it deserves it. Honestly, like, I really genuinely feel like this game is as good of a Resident Evil game as we could have been, as we could have been given, you know, for a modern Resident Evil game. Like, it just really, really is annoying to me when I see people say that I would rather play Resident Evil 4 Remake, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8 over Resident Evil 9. It's like, how can you fucking say that? Like, this game is all of those games wrapped into one beautiful fucking package. What are you saying? Honestly, I do not get what you people are going on about at this point. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous to me. You know, and I've seen the whole complaint, the whole 2016 Disney Force Awakens, oh, there's too much nostalgia complaint with Leon's half of the story, that they rely too heavily on nostalgia and, you know, like reminiscing over all the past Resident Evil games. And I can somewhat get that. I mean, like, the Mr. X sequence, for example, is really freaking awesome, and I still love it, but it doesn't change the fact that it's super short and, you know, a very, like, scripted encounter that once you already know how to, like, deal with Mr. X, like, you know, it's not, you don't get that same reaction, like, replaying it afterwards. But that's what Insanity is for, honestly. That's what this difficulty was made for. For people who don't think this game has as much replay value, play the game on Insanity, and you'll get a whole different experience. Like, the Mr. X fight is actually a lot harder on Insanity, and because of that, I actually enjoyed fighting him. He's probably one of the few bosses in this game that I was dying for like almost an hour straight on Insanity, but I enjoyed every single second of it, like mastering it and getting good at it, you know? Like, there are definitely plenty of reasons to replay this game, but some people just have that, oh, you know, it's in one ear, out the other mentality, where they play it once, and then after that, they just don't really have any desire to go back and play it again. And because they don't have a desire to replay it, to them, they just automatically dismiss the game and say, oh, there's no replay value. It's like, yeah, there is, motherfucker. You're just being lazy, okay? You know, I think the whole nostalgia complaint is stupid, because the nostalgia, the going back to Raccoon City actually does serve a fucking purpose, you know, for Leon and his story and his arc, which some people think, like, what arc? He doesn't go on an arc in this game. Yeah, he does. He has grown a lot as a character, and he is overridden with survivor's guilt. He's had survivor's guilt for the past 30 years, and him going back to Raccoon City is him confronting that survivor's guilt and basically doing something about it and taking action. I know that seems very cliche and very surface level, that, you know, analysis there, but it's just how I feel genuinely, you know, about, I do feel like Leon goes on a character arc in this game, and I just don't agree with people who think the nostalgia in this game is weak. It's like, okay, if you want to go on about nostalgia and bitch about the nostalgia, well, you know, RE7 has Chris Redfield in it. They gave us an entire DLC for Chris Redfield. How is that not nostalgia? Resident Evil 8 has an entire section where you're playing as Chris Redfield. How is that not nostalgic? You know, like, let's be honest, that Chris Redfield section in RE8 is probably the best part of the game, and it goes on for like only 20 minutes. 20 minutes out of 12 hours of game is like the best part of the game, and you all still think Resident Evil 8 is better. Like, get the fuck out of here. I don't know. I'm kind of biased because I don't really think Resident Evil 8, like, I've never really looked at Resident Evil 8 as like a Resident Evil game. It doesn't feel like a Resident Evil game to me. I mean, you're fighting fucking lichens in that game, for fuck's sakes. It's like, you know, I don't know. It's just, I'm trying to like address the common complaints that I've seen about this game, but I feel like I'm doing a pretty poor job at doing so. But it doesn't matter because I'm filling up the time, and we got like 8 minutes left, so, or 7. So we're gonna come back to the item box to use our points, and yeah, I'm gonna end this video off with us climbing up the ladder to the rooftop where the mortars are, and that's where we're going to start the next video. But we still got a little bit of time here, so it's not over yet. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to kind of address those criticisms, even though I feel like I did a horrible job at doing so. I'm trying to keep all of my upgrades here like kind of balanced, by the way, you know, working on, you know, upgrading one thing for each weapon whenever I can. So we're going to do durability on the hatchet. You're going to want to have the hatchet upgraded, honestly, because I guess this is sort of like a spoiler for Insanity at the very least. The hardest boss fight for me in this game on Insanity was the boss fight against Hunk at Ark later on in the game. I was dying on that guy for like 2.5 to like almost 3 hours straight. So working on upgrading your hatchet is definitely very, very useful and very valuable here. And yeah, so we're making progress. As you guys can see, these poor guys, looks like one of those guys got shot and like actually tried to like crawl back in. Oh no, these guys were just in the building and they got shot. Like, I wonder what the story of, you know, these guys were. Another complaint I see is the fact that the zombies like shoot at you in this game. It's like, okay, but like, you know, this game establishes the fact that a lot of these like newly infected zombies have this like other version. I think it's still the T virus, but they have this other version of the T virus where it's like they can still hold on and, you know, retain parts of their consciousness even after they've turned. So it doesn't really seem that far-fetched to me that BSAA soldiers that have been infected and turned into zombies can shoot at you in this game. I think some people just complain about that because they have, literally, I'm gonna be that jackass and say that, you know, they're having skill issues, you know. Like one YouTuber, he's not gonna watch this video, but if he does, you know, and does decide to make an entire video talking about, you know, not how he doesn't agree with me and how my points are not, you know, like valid or whatever the fuck he wants to say, even though I like this guy. It didn't sound like I like the guy the way I'm talking about him. His name is the Birdman, you know, and he made a video basically just saying that RE9 is just kind of meh. And all of his complaints were that, you know, he would rather play RE2 Remake, RE3 Remake, RE4 Remake because, You know, he doesn't like how slow Grace moves. He thinks Leon's open world section here is lame. The colors are all muted. I think that was one of the complaints he used from what I remember. He doesn't like the fact that the zombies shoot at you. He doesn't like that, you know, Leon has the over-the-top, like, RE6 moment with the motorcycle, but it's like, okay, you said you rather play RE4 Remake over this, but, like, there's a whole section in that fucking game at the end where you're on a mini jet ski with Ashley on your back as the whole facility is exploding, and you can do, like, actual, like, barrel rolls and flips mid-air without falling off of the jet ski as shit is, like, falling down. Like, man, my whole issue is that if you're gonna criticize this game and then praise other games in the series for doing the same shit, but, like, better, you don't have a valid criticism, in my opinion. You need to be consistent with your arguments. The whole, you know, I don't like how, you know, this game, you know, Leon has really over-the-top action, but I'm like, have you played RE4? I mean, you literally said you'd rather, play RE4 Remake over this, and that game is nothing but over-the-top, cheesy action. That's all that game is. It's literally just like, oh, we gotta find Ashley. Okay, Ashley's been rescued. All right, now we gotta protect Ashley. Oh, no, Ashley's been kidnapped again. Oh, now we rescued Ashley. Now we gotta protect Ashley. Oh, no, Ashley's been kidnapped again. And it's literally, it's just, that is that entire game, what that entire game is, over and over and over and over and over again until it's over. It's just like, how can you look at that and think that game is better when this game has an actual story, you know? I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting so worked up talking about... I'm not getting worked up. I'm just getting distracted talking about, you know, these other people and their weird-ass opinions that I just don't agree with and think are kind of weak arguments. It's like, you need to be consistent with your arguments. If you're going to, you know, praise other games in the series that do the same thing that you complain about with this game, it's like, I would argue the other way around and say that this game does those things, but it does it better, you know? But that's just me. So, this is the last part that I'm going to show you guys. I'm coming down these revolving stairs, and I think there are a few guys that are gonna come out, like, they're gonna come down the stairs basically after us, and we're gonna have to take them out. Or just one guy by the looks of it. I think actually two potentially. Yeah, two guys. But I mean, these guys don't shoot at you, so they're pretty easy to deal with. And yeah, I'm just going for the ammo and the loot at this point. And like I said earlier, I'm going to be ending this video off with me climbing up that ladder to the rooftop section. So there's not really much for me to commentate on at this point. I mean, we're pretty much here. We've reached the end of this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed this this video. It was a different, you know, it was like a nice change of pace in my opinion. A little bit of a slower video. Some of you may look at it as like a filler video, but yeah, whatever. Fuck you. I'm just kidding. I don't hate you guys. I love you guys. So if you did enjoy this video, I would greatly appreciate it. As always, if you guys could comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you on part 6. Peace.